continuing our 3-year trek through the Bible. We're at Judges chapter 8. This isn't one of the smoothest chapter divisions, but we're taking them as they come for the most part. Occasionally, I'll probably stick a verse here or there into the next chapter or take a verse or two from the next chapter into the current one I'm reading. This one probably would have been a better division around verse 24 of chapter 7 or let this section of chapter 8 up through verse 3 or so go into chapter 7. So these first 3 verses are a very blatant continuation of what we ended with yesterday. But chapter 8, we read, the men of Ephraim said to him, "Why have you done this to us, not calling us when you went to fight against the Midianites?" And they argued with him violently. So he said to them, "What have I done now compared to you? Is not the gleaning of Ephraim better than the great harvest of Abiezer? God handed over to you Oreb and Zeb, the 2 princes of Midian. What was I able to do compared to you?" When he said this, their anger against him subsided. Gideon and the 300 men came to the Jordan and crossed it. They were exhausted, but still in pursuit. He said to the men of Succoth, "Please give some loaves of bread to the troops under my command, because they are exhausted. For I am pursuing Zebah and Zalmunna, the kings of Midian." But the princes of Succoth asked, "Are Zebah and Zalmunna now in your hands, that we should give bread to your army?" Gideon replied, "Very well. When the Lord has handed Zebah and Zalmunna over to me, I will tear your flesh with thorns and briars from the wilderness." He went from there to Penuel and asked the same thing from them. The men of Penuel answered just as the men of Succoth had answered. He also told the men of Penuel, "When I return safely, I will tear down this tower." Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor, and with them was their army of about 15,000 men, who were all those left of the entire army of the people of the east. Those who had been killed were 120,000 armed men. Gideon traveled on the caravan route east of Nobah and Jogbehah and attacked their army while the army felt secure. Zebah and Zalmunna fled, and he pursued them. He captured these 2 kings of Midian and routed the entire army. Gideon, son of Joash, returned from the battle by the ascent of Heres. He captured a youth from the men of Succoth and interrogated him. The youth wrote down for him the names of the 77 leaders and elders of Succoth. Then he went to the men of Succoth and said, "Here are Zebah and Zalmunna. You taunted me about them, saying, 'Are Zebah and Zalmunna now in your power, that we should give bread to your exhausted men?'" So he took the elders of the city, and he took some thorns and briars from the wilderness, and he disciplined the men of Succoth with them. He also tore down the tower of Penuel and killed the men of the city. He asked Zebah and Zalmunna, "What kind of men did you kill at Tabor?" "They were like you," they said. "Each resembled the son of a king." So he said, "They were my brothers, the sons of my mother. As the Lord lives, if you had let them live, I would not kill you." Then he said to Jether, his firstborn, "Get up and kill them." The youth did not draw his sword, for he was afraid, because he was still a youth. Zebah and Zalmunna said, "Get up and strike us down yourself, for a man is judged by his strength." So Gideon got up, killed Zebah and Zalmunna, and took the crescent ornaments that were on the necks of their camels. Then the Israelites said to Gideon, "Rule over us, you as well as your sons and your grandsons, for you delivered us from the power of Midian." But Gideon said to them, "I will not rule over you, and my son will not rule over you. The Lord will rule over you." Then he said to them, "Let me make a request of you. Everyone give me an earring from his plunder." Now the enemy had gold earrings because they were Ishmaelites. They said, we agree to give them." So they spread out a cloak, and everyone threw an earring from his plunder on it. The weight of the gold earrings he requested was 43 pounds of gold, in addition to the crescent ornaments and ear pendants, the purple garments on the kings of Midian, and the chains on the necks of their camels. Gideon made an ephod from all this and put it in Ophrah, his hometown. Then all Israel prostituted themselves by worshiping it there, and it became a snare to Gideon and to his household. So Midian was subdued before the Israelites, and they were no longer a threat. The land had peace for 40 years during the days of Gideon. Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, son of Joash, went back to live at his house. Gideon had 70 sons, his own offspring, since he had many wives. His concubine, who was in Shechem, also bore him a son, and he named him Abimelech. Then Gideon, son of Joash, died at a good old age and was buried in the tomb of his father Joash in Ophrah of the Abiezrites. When Gideon died, the Israelites turned and prostituted themselves by worshiping the Baals and made Baal Berith their god. The Israelites did not remember the Lord their God, who had rescued them from the hand of the enemies around them. They did not show kindness to the house of Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, for all the good he had done for Israel. Judges chapter 8. And so we see the pattern continuing. God delivers them, does this incredible delivery. 300 men against 135,000. And I think it's reemphasized how crazy and just bizarre that is when we read in this chapter there were 15,000 left and they were cowering from 300 men. That's a 500 to 1 odd still. I would think I'd feel pretty good, and I'm not a fighter myself, but 500, if I was a group of 500 taking on a Bruce Lee or Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone and any of those movie fighter guys, it's just like 500 of us. I think even if we're untrained, I think 500 of us can handle them, but they were cowering. And so then, they get delivered, Gideon rescues everybody, and then he requests that everyone give him, an earring and whatnot, and they pile it up, and he puts this in Ophrah, his hometown, and it just kills me. Right after this great deliverance from the Lord, then all Israel prostituted themselves by worshiping it there, and it became a snare to Gideon and his household. Notice it became a snare to Gideon. And then the last paragraph, when Gideon died, the Israelites turned and prostituted themselves by worshiping the Baals and made Baal Berith their god. The constant pattern of this book. And if I'm honest, the pattern of my heart. I'm no different. I'm no better. And the only way I can avoid being like these Israelites who get delivered by God and then instantly fall into idolatry, often with the ornaments and devices that were involved in the deliverance, the only way I can avoid that is every morning hand my heart to God and say, God, my heart is a idol factory maker. I'm geared towards wandering and going in just the wrong direction. And I need the Lord to keep me on the straight and narrow path. And that's just not me. That's all of us. We cannot have confidence in our own flesh. If it is my effort that is needed to keep me with the Lord, then I'm not going to end up being with the Lord. I will wander and I will go down the wrong path. May He keep us all secure. May He keep us near Him. May He keep us from sin this day. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And thank you for your faithful watching, those of you that are faithful watching this, and pray that the Lord will bless and use this to reach others. And if not, I'm glad for even just a couple people that may watch this. May the Lord bless you. Have a wonderful day.